Hey everyone, thank you so much for taking the time to watch another one of my videos. Seriously, it still blows my mind that I've managed to pick up as many subscribers as I have. I never set out to build an audience or chase numbers. I'm genuinely just having fun messing around with games, sharing random thoughts, and occasionally putting something out there when the mood strikes. The support means a lot more than I can probably put into words. Now, not to gaslight any of you or downplay things, but I have to be real. I'm really not much of a content creator in the classic sense. If anything, I'm way more of a consumer of content. I love watching streams, binging videos, diving deep into other people's playthroughs, reactions, and let's play streaming itself. I do enjoy it sometimes, the energy, the chat interactions, but honestly, I vastly prefer just chilling in someone else's stream, playing games casually with friends or quietly spectating. That's where I feel most comfortable and relaxed. I've always been a pretty humble person, and I don't say that to fish for compliments or brag in reverse. It's just how I've always been wired. That humility has actually caused me a fair amount of problems over the years. For example, I've created a bunch of randomizers, editors, and little tools for various games. Mostly in the Donkey Kong and retro space. And they're honestly things I'm proud of on a technical level, but I almost never promote them properly because self-promotion feels awkward and unnatural to me. I just quietly release them, hope a few people find them useful, and move on. Speaking of things I almost left out entirely, because I literally wrote most of this script and then remembered the biggest piece of the puzzle. I am severely disabled. I play video games using basically one hand, and even that hand is extremely limited in what it can do. My reaction speed is pretty slow overall, and I can only manage about 2 clicks or inputs per second at best. No lightning fast button mashing or quick reflexes here. Simple actions that most people do without thinking take me deliberate effort and time. Because of all that, my being humble creates a massive internal conflict. On one hand, I don't want to come across as boastful. On the other hand, I actually do think what I've managed to pull off is kind of impressive. At least to me. Take, for instance, 100%ing Donkey Kong Bonanza, using just a standard controller remapped on the fly depending on the section or challenge. Some of those bonus rooms, tricky platforming sequences, and certain bosses took me literal hours upon hours of patient, methodical attempts. I'd sit there slowly working through patterns, dying over and over, but refusing to give up until I cracked it. For someone with my limitations, crossing those finish lines felt like real victories, even if no one else was watching. Another big part of my disability affects my voice. I know a lot of people are self-conscious about how they sound on mic. It's super common, but for me it's on another level. My natural speaking voice just doesn't come across clearly or comfortably, and in the past when I tried recording with it, I could barely stand listening to the playback. It made creating videos feel painful instead of fun. That's why I switched to text-to-speech. It's not perfect, but it lets me focus on the ideas and the games instead of worrying about how I sound. Honestly, it's been a huge relief in a lot of ways. All my life, I've had this quiet dream of being popular. You know, seeing those huge streamers with thousands in chat, big sponsorships, constant energy. And yeah, sometimes I get a little jealous watching it all unfold. But here's the honest truth. I don't actually want my life to change that drastically. I'm genuinely happy at the size I am right now. Small community, personal interactions, people who stick around because they like the vibe rather than chasing trends. If I suddenly had hundreds of people showing up to a stream, I'd probably get completely overwhelmed. Social overload is real for me, and I like being able to actually talk to people one-on-one, read every comment, respond when I can, and keep things low pressure. Growing too fast would probably break that for me, and I don't want to lose what makes this enjoyable. There's also another layer to my disability that plays into all this. I experience emotions and empathy differently than a lot of people. I don't feel things in the same immediate, instinctive way. My callousness isn't intentional. It's just how my brain processes stuff. When something emotional happens, I usually have to pause, really think it through, imagine myself in the situation step by step, and slowly build up an understanding response, add in the slow reaction time, and I can come across as detached or slow to react in conversations. It's not that I don't care. It's that it takes me longer to get there. Anyway, sorry if this ended up super long-winded. Once I start typing, it's hard to stop when there's so much I want to share. The main thing I want you all to know is how much I appreciate the support, even on the weeks or months when I'm not uploading anything new. Whether you're watching old videos, dropping a random comment, or just lurking, it all matters to me. Please don't ever hesitate to reach out. Send a DM, leave a comment, ask a question, share a game recommendation, whatever. I read every single one. Even if my response time can be glacial sometimes because, well, life and limitations, or I just forget. Thanks again for being here. You guys make this whole thing feel worthwhile. Talk to you in the next one. Whenever that may be, take care.